I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I can see that this is going to be a challenge and a help to me. I'd like to hear from some of the other guys. I was a music major in college, but I was a voice major, and so I've just played trumpet since sixth grade, and I've never had any instruction. So, as I was telling Jeremy yesterday, I have about 50 years of bad habits, and I know that there are things that I need to change, and I'm just curious because I'm dubious as to whether I can make those changes, having played for 40 or 50 years, in the old kind of way of pinching my sound at the top and extending range and those kinds of things. So. I'm just looking for some feedback from some of you guys that may have started in the same kind of way I am.
Hey, Steve Feister, Scott Layden, uh, anyone, feel free to jump in on that one. Yeah, Bill, unmute and just have
Yeah, I got a
fun.
good one, David.
Sure.
I mean, David, I came from the opposite. I was a professional trumpet player in the 80s in Los Angeles, but you can't play like I played with a really tight embouchure and stuff like that in my 20s, in my 60s. And so what's happened is with this way that Jeremy gets your embouchure to working by thinking through the sound rather than the embouchure, bringing forward, giving us a cushion rather than pressing, your steel mouthpiece against your teeth or your brass mouthpiece against your teeth. My range is coming back, and endurance is a lot better than I thought I could achieve in my 60s. So as a comeback trumpet player, so I had professionally ingrained bad habits, so you might have just, stumbled into yours, but mine were beat into me poorly. Like, for instance, I had a really high tongue and it kind of almost like a whistle. And I studied under Claude Gordon, who was one of the greats back in the day. And I can't blow through that kind of pressure anymore. It has to open up. Jeremy will talk like having your tongue like soft butter, and it really lets a lot more air come through, and the air supports the embouchure. You don't really think about the embouchure much, to tell you the truth, which I was obsessed with it. And so, yeah, just do what he says.
Thanks,
Exactly.
Scott. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Dick Zellner or Steve Feister or Bill. Bill, I think you unmuted. Bill,
Sure.
go ahead, and then we'll get to Dick in a second.
Sure. Yeah, my habits were ingrained for 50 years, playing continuously all that time, performing and so forth. And as long as you have the will and you put your mind to it, you can make those changes. It can happen.
Yeah, cool. Dick, yeah, Dick just unmuted. Go ahead, Dick.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I was working with Doc Severinsen. I produced him a couple times with the National Repertory Orchestra, and I rode with him in a car. He never really knew me as a trumpet player. He knew me as an orchestra manager. But anyhow, I always heard him talk about the velocity of air, and I never really got into what that really all meant. And now being with Jeremy, he's really breaking it all down about how to produce it and what it means and how it works. And I got all the background detail because I remember Doc talking about that all the time. And when I was driving with him in the car from Colorado, Denver Airport to Keystone, he was constantly blowing in his mouthpiece and buzzing in the car, demonstrating the velocity air. But I never really got into it the way we are getting into it with Jeremy. And I'm starting with these sessions, starting to see improvement in my range and in my endurance, which was my objective for being here.
Thanks, Dick. Mine too. Doc Severson was my idol when I was in high school. Uh, Even more so than Maynard Ferguson because I always said Doc had the finesse, and Ferguson just had the blast.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Maynard was impressive, but I always loved Doc because the sound was just like, and the control just unfathomable and just amazing.
It was 90% good.
Well, that's better than a lot of baseball players.
Uh, but I think I finally realized, first of all, what has happened to me since I've started here is I've grown my range from a C or D up to a G above high C, which has been incredible. And I've recently been working, playing expanding scales, and I just get this gigantic tone that I've never had before. And so when I went into the gig, all of that was coming out. But I need I think you've helped me with my trumpet stuff. I need psychological help at this point. I need help in remaining concentrated and not being distracted. I'm easily distracted, and then I screw up, you know. And I play with another very good trumpet player, and I saw him looking at me and smiling and nodding, so I knew I was doing just fine.
That's
That was
cool.
good. Thank you. But I need that other 10%, and I think that's got to come from this part, not this.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what Steve was saying for David's benefit, good days and bad days. Today wasn't a good day for me, but you it'll come back. But I did want to add that I have to deal with some nervous issues when I'm playing for exposed parts. I'm in two orchestras, and I have one part that's for the concert that's coming up tomorrow night. And I found that in rehearsal, as Jeremy points out, if you focus on the sound and your sigh and hot air, it's greatly improved, and the nerves seem to go away.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you. That Jeremy and I talked a little bit about that yesterday. I'm not a soloist because it scares me to death, and I'd like to be able to put the nerves away and be able to play more confidently in church settings, orchestra settings that have solos, whatever it takes.
Yeah, in
Same.
my mind, it's been a matter of trust, and I've been kind of on a new wave of that trust cycle over about the last 2.5 years, and I now know that I can trust my new way of playing better than the old way, and so when it comes to playing solo, when it comes to being playing anything with an ensemble, I know I can trust. I can trust this, and then whenever I am sliding back, it's like, why am I doing that? That's awful. And then I immediately reset and keep going.